Yo, 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 what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Nate the Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessings. Give y'all some time to tune in, just in case these notifications still didn't go out. Man, myself comfortable real quick. I probably won't be on here too crazy tonight. Um, do want to discuss one or two little things, little minor things, but some of it has to deal with people in New York City housing, so you already know. First things first, hopefully everybody had a blessed and productive Thursday. Hopefully everybody enjoying the evenings. Hopefully your kids got safe through the school day. For those celebrating birthdays. And yeah, happy birthday, early birthday to your Libras coming in. Anita, baby. Hopefully everybody is celebrating. Hopefully y'all keeping yourself safe as always, keeping yourself vigilant. And again, just enjoying all the many blessings. You know? And hopefully for those in them areas where it's still kind of hot and humid, hopefully y'all keeping yourselves cool, making sure you keeping your health intact, you know. And if you feel anything that you know doesn't feel right, make sure you're taking yourself to the hospital, get yourself checked out. Health over everything. Appreciate everybody that tuned in Tuesday for the conversation. Definitely was another great one. Definitely hit some key points. Those that missed it, definitely catch the replay. Tonight, I'm gonna cover a little something, and again, hopefully the ones that are in these complexes. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it's yeah, kid you not. Today reading in the news and it's looking like again some of the complexes out there. They're going against the grain as far as the votes are concerned. Um, for those who are unaware, yes, they have been having specific votes for a lot of the complexes in New York City housing, all 5 boroughs. One of those votes is basically, you know, getting you up out of Section 9, if that's what you want to call it, or getting you up out of housing. The other one is supposed to be about trust and everything else, but in the same token, uh, it's nothing to really trust when two of those votes is actually still a form of a vote to try to to prioritize and privatize basically New York City housing. Now again, how do you plan on privatizing something that's been public or to the public forever? Annie baby, you trying to prioritize and privatize all these complexes all because of what? You trying to quote unquote fix a broken system. There's no possible way to fix a broken system when you are not serious in the all know about doing so. You talk a good game, but again, it's about action. It's about proof. Now, in that same token, again, I don't believe that would be the best fit. Some of the complexes already made their votes, and they are not trying to go with the vote that's going to privatize their buildings, which is good because that's a stand up. You know, the people are actually standing up for what they believe in, and honestly, there should be more people doing the same thing. Now there's some people who made up their minds as far as trying to get out. Hey, more power to you. But again, hopefully you do have somewhere where you'll be able to restart, relocate. For some who went with that trust vote, like I said, within the next 5 years, your 9 out of 10 are going to have to find another spot because, again, you're not going to be able to stay within your residence, especially for those who are probably in areas where, again, you might have to vacate your apartment. In my opinion, they knew what they was doing because, again, what better way to try to eliminate some of the problems? You want to privatize something that honestly is not going to work because what made everything work in this great city, especially when it came down to this thing in particular, is that you was being subtle and also being reasonable with the people. When you privatize things like public housing, it becomes a problem because now you're not going off of what somebody's income is. Now you are just going to put a straight flat rate on how the rent gets paid, so on and so forth. Not realizing that you're not thinking about those who, again, even if they voted to stay, how do you think it's going to work for them? Cool Gamer, what's going on? Chip, what's going on, my guy? Yeah, you got to think about that. There are some people, like I said yesterday, Tuesday, about checking in on some elderly folks who live in houses. Some of them elderly folks are not planning on going nowhere. And again, like I said before, they shouldn't have to if they don't want to. And not if they don't need to. They got to realize that there are some people who, regardless to what, they ain't fully equipped to just up and relocate. So think about that before you try to privatize all these buildings. And some of the buildings you're not going to be able to. Because again, it seems like your goal is to get people moved in. And then guess what? Some of the people who move in, they might not be able to pay the full amount of rent. They could probably play close to it, or they'll probably just be able to pay the rent. When you privatize something at some point, you get the cold shots. So now, prime example, if your rent is 1,500 or better, it can go even higher. You think by privatizing buildings that's going to fix your broken system? No. James, what's going on, my guy? This is what's going to fix your broken system. Stop putting incompetent and stop putting devious, dastardly people in these positions to where they are dealing with the funds, the trust, the money. Like I said, half of these areas wouldn't have had none of these folks to worry about had it not been for that major scheme that last time. Again, it's what I'm saying. Every time something big like that happens and it gets spread open, guess what? Who want to face the bulk end and get the short end of the stick? The people. It ain't fair. Because think about it. Now, prime example, you decide to privatize one of these buildings in particular because you got the power to do so. You basically, essentially, this is how you want to do it. Well, I'm gonna just have the rent flat out. It got to be 2,000 a month, even if it's for a 1 bedroom. And then the price from 2,000 and up. Who really got that money? And then my thing is, again, you want to privatize things, but then guess what? It ain't gonna make no difference if it's still public or privatized. A lot of people are not gonna feel comfortable again moving into buildings where they're looking directly into other people's windows and apartments and everything else. When you are blocking great views because you want to build on every damn place that you didn't really have to build on, that's a problem in all boroughs. Now we used to Harlem and Manhattan having all the high rises and all that shit. Even the Bronx in certain areas, yes, y'all got high rises. But again, y'all shit wasn't as bad as it is now in the city. It's bad because now look, you gotta think about it. For almost every block that there's at least one, two buildings, there's another two buildings adjacent from them. You know, like I'm on that. When that last quote unquote mayor was in here, I granted, I see what he was trying to do in some instances. Yes, it is, and it was smart to say, you know what, we have a lot of property, a lot of areas where there's really nothing there for the people to flourish, for the neighborhoods to flourish. All right, granted, let's build something. But again, building those areas where it was needed. There's certain spots that didn't technically need it at all. They already had enough as is. The skyline is ruined. And the reason why that skyline is ruined is because, again, almost everywhere you look, almost every corner, there's a damn building somewhere. There's people right now, if they was to come into my area, they would see that, yeah, some things have definitely changed. Some for the good, others, it just make everything feel weird. It's not that same enigma. It's not that same, aesthetic. But again, you about to try to fix a broken system by trying to just say, well, we're going to privatize this and do this the way we feel it should be done. But then again, how do y'all deem it? How do you think it should be done? If you're not getting the views, if you're not getting the voices from the people have a say so, the tenants have a say so. You forgot. You can't just up and want to do something. And then guess what? You still have people who might fight against it. If they're unaware of certain things, guess what? They ain't gonna just vote on something right away. And the reason why a lot of the complexes still haven't finished their voting as far as what they are trying to do with all the complexes, because again, you got to look at the total of people who are probably incapacitated in the hospital, can't do nothing, and don't have nobody to take care of business for them. So now you have to possibly wait for these people or try to at least get somebody to see what the situation is before you could just up and do anything. Some people might have already made the vote for their areas to be privatized, but as long as everything is looking up the par, then, you know, it shouldn't be a problem. But in all due respect, it is a problem because again, you got to look at those young or old who probably are, you know, set salary. If they don't have a set salary or something like that, you got to go on what they going by. You can't sit here and expect somebody to pay $2,000 in rent, prime example. If they probably, I, you can't expect somebody to pay $2,000 in rent when they probably not even making $2,000 a month. And that's just the real reality of it. You can't expect somebody to pay 2,500 for a prime example, a 2 bedroom or something like that, 3 bedroom, when you know they probably not even making that a month. Again, it's unfair. It's almost essential, like you saying, you want to get the people who can't afford it out, so you could bring the people who can in. But in that same token, the people who probably can afford it, they ain't trying to again come into an area where skyline is not the way it should be. The skyline they envision ain't what it is. Not unless they in an area where they are facing or they on the top floor where they can see almost everything. And even that's a problem because there's certain high rises that have more than 18, 20 floors. And yet and still you got buildings that are going higher than theirs. So again, it's like you essentially going to be looking into somebody else's complex. And it's sad. You know, you figure that's the way you're going to be able to fix something is by privatizing something. No, again, stop putting in the wrong people in these positions. Stop having them call the shots if they are not making the right type of decision. Oh, I know, Anita, trust me. California, New York, most of the big cities in particular, rent is sky high already, whether it's privatized or public. You know, and again, that's a strong alarming problem. You got some people who are going homeless just because of that. The rent done became too high to where they can't afford to do anything. And that's not fair, especially for those who have been there almost the entirety of their existence. You know, it's sad. You know, it's almost in the same sense of saying you got to have more than two incomes just to try to keep a roof over your head, which is sad. You know, and it's time for the people to really start standing up and fighting. There's some things that could be fixed within if they would just put the right people in play. You want to put in certain ones just because, oh, they're a notable name or whatever, but them notable names sometimes will be the ones that mess you up, screw you over. It's real raps right there. So again, how do you try to battle this problem? Again, it's going to take the people to come together as a collective, form a conjunction to where again, start really voicing your views and opinions. Because you do have rights as tenants, homeowners, all of that. You have rights. You know, if certain things are not being met, if certain criteria are not being met, then yes, you have a right to stand up, voice your opinion, and speak on whatever. Like I was saying Tuesday, it's crazy how somebody could have certain things that need to be fixed, need to be looked at, and they ain't getting looked at the way it's supposed to. But then here's the problem right now. And here's the problem that has been since the pandemic started. There's not a lot of maintenance workers, you know, who are going to be able to do all the apartments that have tickets. In certain areas, you be lucky if you got at least two or three handymen, which before you would have more than a few because, again, you got a lot of buildings to worry about, a lot of apartments to try to cover and take care of. That instance, since that pandemic started, like I said, a lot of people just decided not to go back to work. Some people retired because they was able to do so after a certain year span. You know, and then there's certain things like I was saying that they should bring back program wise, especially again, if it's not going to be privatized, then hey, bring back these programs that are necessary and needed. Marlene, baby. I already know if y'all just tuned in at the like button. But yeah, you know, that's why I said we got to definitely, you know, as the people, you know, again, start rising up to the occasion. You know, what's more important, trying to keep a roof over your head or being out on the streets? You know, in most instances, you want to keep a roof over your head. But it's sad for some because they try to do so. But if they're in areas where the cost of living keep going up, that's always going to be a damn problem. You know, now there's certain states where the cost of living ain't as high because there's certain things that shoot, it ain't that expensive. But in the big cities, you can forget about it. Especially if you live in areas where it's either deemed tourist attractions or anything else along those lines, you can forget about it. If you living somewhere near them areas, forget about it. Your rent gonna be kind of sky high already. You know, again, it's more about the awareness and you know, be more aware of who your people are as far as who are the people in charge of these establishments. Again, you know, make sure your superintendents ain't corrupt. Make sure your landlords ain't slumlords. You know, again, tenants do have rights because again, you're human at the end of the day. You shouldn't be in an area or be in a situation where it's almost like you living again in a scrapyard. You know, and it's sad for some people because you got to call the news, call the Better Business Bureau, and do certain things just for the simplest things to get done. The simplest thing that can be done again is trying to hire and try to train those who need to be hired and trained. Because if you think about it, in certain areas, again, they don't have enough handymen. Now they got enough groundskeepers and people who are dealing with, the bulk garbage and everything else. But when it comes to actual handymen, workers who come into these apartments, they don't have that many. Just think about it. If I gotta be in one specific building, but then I might have to go in more than one building that day. I might have to go into at least 3 different buildings and service a couple apartments, depending on what the job is and how deep it's going to be. I might, most likely, I'm not going to be able to carry everything the way I want to. I can hit the main spots, especially prime example. Now it's certain things where they got to call an outside contractor. Like I said before, they used to have enough people in Junction for things to get done within housing. Now, again, there were some complexes who neglected and definitely mistreated the people. That shit doesn't go off record. It is already on record. But you had those other complexes who, again, they were about fighting and being unified in things that needed to be done. Something to think about for real, man. When y'all sit there and stay voiceless and you stay silent, you basically allow them to steamroll all over your plans. Prime example for some, you might have to start paying for things that you didn't necessarily have to pay for before. For some of y'all, you might have to start paying for your mailboxes to get fixed just in case, which again is stupid in the fact because again, if that's supposed to be government and it's still part of the property, that means you as the superintendents and whoever else, y'all supposed to make sure that the people get their things fixed. Why should you have to pay almost $20 to get something fixed that wasn't your fault in the first place? For some, they might go up, especially if you got air conditioners. For some of y'all know they might try to charge an extra $8. In certain instances, they might try to charge you $13 to $15. So I would inquire that some of y'all that if you don't need your ACs plugged in right now, unplug them shits. Because then you'll wonder where that spike in the rent came from or where the extra few dollars came from. It's coming from things that are being used that don't really need to be used at this time juncture. And it's crazy because, it's sad that you think that was the best plan of protocol. And you tried it a couple years ago, but you see you still had the same type of situation. You're going to have those complexes who are going to fight to keep everything the way it is. And not saying the conditions. No, they're going to fight to keep certain things on the public level and not the private level. Because again, once everything goes private, they basically are in control of everything. They're in control of how much you're going to be paying the rent, what amenities you could be entitled to or not entitled to. There'll be a lot of different things to where you're going to probably get headaches. You're probably going to have to pay for certain things to get fixed, which you really shouldn't have to. Because again, if I'm already paying skyrocket rent, why should I have to pay for things that should be done on your behalf? And then my thing, and like I was saying the other day, if person has to end up fixing things in their home because you're taking forever to do so, then y'all should deduct the rent. Y'all should deduct that rent either for that month or for the next 2 months, depending on how much that person has spent to fix things in their house that need to be fixed. There's some people, prime example right now, who probably spent more than $100 on equipment, trying to either fix holes in the wall, trying to plaster, paint, do certain things. Paint is not cheap. Paint is not cheap no more. That shit is expensive. Sheetrock, all that other stuff, that's not cheap no more. And if you gotta go full level because you got so much of damage on your wall, guess what? It's not going to be an easy fix up. So again, think about that. It should be that way. If a tenant has to fix their own problems that you're supposed to be fixing, then the rent should be lowered down. It shouldn't be you still want to try to charge a high price for something that you couldn't even fix. You want to still charge me high rent for something when I had to do all of the unnecessary things I didn't want to have to do to fix up. It's crazy. Yeah, but that's the way it's supposed to be done technically, Anita. And there's a lot of people who probably don't know that, but then there's people who do know that. I know a couple of people who was like that. They had to fix big holes and gaps that they had in the wall, reinstall cabinets because cabinets is falling off, so on and so forth. Things of that nature. Probably had to fix some plumbing or do some plumbing of their own because they catching floods or unwanted, cloggage and so on and so forth. And again, there are certain tickets that you'll be able to put in and they'll be coming out within 24 hours, especially if they're supposed to be deemed an emergency. Like prime example, if there's something wrong with your refrigerator, within 24 hours they're supposed to be getting within either giving you a new fridge or coming to see what the hell is going on with your fridge. If it's something with your stove, guess what? Same thing. Within a certain time frame, they're supposed to come assess the problem because gas is definitely a problem if there's a leakage somewhere. There's some people right now who are going through what I told y'all a while back. There are some people right now in certain buildings who, again, is right back to the same thing because of gas leaks, because of certain problems that are going on within these buildings. Now they got to use hot plates. In certain instances, it's hard to do certain things on hot plates. And those, what they call them pressure cookers. And then guess what? And when it's all said and done, first of all, if there's a situation where you have to give me a hot plate, I expect to keep it, especially the longer I got to keep using it because you're taking forever to fix whatever problems you need to fix. Like I told y'all that one year, you mean to tell me the one building I knew about, you mean to tell me for almost a whole year, nobody had gas or heat? Just think about that as it's going into the winter. There's no heat in your damn apartment. You ain't got no gas to cook. Who you think going to be ordering out all day, every day? Who you think going to want to use a hot plate all day, every day? I feel bad for those people right now because there's another situation just like that. A couple buildings right now with a couple of the apartment lines from top floor to the bottom floor got to use hot plates and pressure cookers because they can't turn on no gas. Some of the buildings are trying to go from gas to electric as far as stoves and stuff is concerned. But in that instance right there, it's going to be hard to do that, especially when some of these buildings have been running on gas and electric. Exactly, James. But that's what I'm saying. You mean to tell me that I gotta possibly order out all the time or go elsewhere and go cook because I can't cook in my own damn home. I feel bad for those people because again, it's crazy. Things that should have been looked at and taken care of, you overlooked it. You had the money to fix these things, you didn't want to do it. And then the way you was trying to do it, it was essentially again like you was trying to evict people just so these things could be done. No. What the hell is this? You know, it's unfair. And especially for those who got more than two children in the house. You know, it's sad. You know, I can understand, all right, taking the best option right now by cutting off gas on a certain line just because you don't want to risk explosion or anything else. Man, all of that. But this is where, again, you're supposed to be on it every day, even if you have to go in these apartments to do whatever, just to see what's what. Do so. Because again, it shouldn't take forever for people to get their gas back on. If you know what the hell you're doing, then you should be doing it. But again, in certain parts, in certain instances, again, you might have to vacate a whole building just because. You know, again, you don't want to risk that type of scenario happening. Time to get in the fight, man. And honestly, I feel like this. If you want people, prime example, to move out of these buildings in particular, so you can quote unquote start doing the necessary renovations and work, then why not put them in either one of the new buildings or put them somewhere where you know for a fact they will not have to worry about as much until their apartments are settled. And honestly, the way some of the areas are, the way some of the complexes are, you would have to probably knock down the building and redo it from the ground up. In order to avoid certain problems, leaks, and everything else, you would have to eventually knock down the whole building and redo it again. And then look how long that's going to be. My day was good, Marlene. Can't complain. Got out, took care of some business. I'm running on fumes right now, somewhat. Come back into this plantation again tonight, like I always do. But got some things done. Process will be repeated tomorrow. Hopefully by Monday, Tuesday, I have one or two things situated. Hope all well with you though, Marlene. Hope all is well with everybody that's popping in on this Thursday night edition. But again, that's not the best way to fix a broken system. Fixing a broken system would mean you would have to rebuild everything from the ground up. That means the people who are in the highest positions who are not doing right and they are not doing their adequate jobs, they gotta go. Don't matter who the hell he is, they gotta go. If they are not servicing the people the way they're supposed to, if they're not taking care of the mandated issues that are supposed to be taken care of, then guess what? They need to go. That's just like in certain instances where even if it's not New York City housing, you could be living in some of these private brownstones or some of these buildings in particular where it's actually landlords. Make sure that they are taking care of the building codes and keeping everything up to par the way they're supposed to. Now, prime example, we only in September, but before you know it, for most areas, you're going to start getting that cold weather around next month, maybe November, depending. You know, you're going to have probably a cold ass winter. Majority of y'all should not have to worry about having no heat or no adequate hot water. That's another thing. You know, I was talking to one of my peoples earlier, and see, like, again, this is why I said things that should have been taken care of wasn't being taken care of. This person almost caught a third-degree burn. How do you go to take a shower, prime example? You didn't even turn the water on full blast, and it's scorching hot. Again, almost peeling off skin. That's not a good look right there. And again, even when it comes down to the boilers and everything else, these are things that need to be looked at. Certain problems that happen, certain fires that happen in certain situations, that's because, prime example, if the incinerator chute is too full or if it's jammed up with whatever, and somebody decides to be stupid, like throw a match down there, you're causing a fire. There's a lot of different elements on why things are not going the way it should go. Again, these are things you need to pay attention to and really take into consideration. And I'm sorry, but privatizing all of the complexes is just not going to work. And the majority of those complexes, I don't care even if they tried to go with a specific vote. That don't necessarily mean everything is going to happen the way you want it to happen. There's still paperwork, processes to deal with. So again, for those prime example who did vote for the trust, and that's what it's called, the trust. Basically, you got within the next 5 years to hopefully have something in wraps. Because guess what? You're not going to be able to stay in that apartment, even if it's the smallest fixtures that need to be done. You made a vote basically to move up out of there. And a lot of people are going against it because, again, how you going to try to fix something that has been broken forever? The way you thinking about fixing it, it still won't work. Because, prime example, even if government is involved when it comes down to this, again, fate of your future is at hand. Why? Because again, you don't know what's going to be rent wise, amenity wise. Again, even relocation or location. There's always going to be broken systems throughout the country, throughout the world. As much as you would like to try to keep most of those things, you know, keep those afloat, not always going to be the case. The only way you can fix that broken system as far as New York City housing or any type of housing is concerned is, again, making sure you got the right people in play. Other than that, you can forget about any changes happening or any real improvements happening. Because again, as long as you got the wrong people in there, nothing's going to ever get done. That's like you consistently voting for a president that's not going to do nothing or take the time out, again, for the tenants that they are taking care of. Or for those who are working with the high ups in the offices and stuff like that. Keep having those type of greedy individuals, and guess what? Money will never go where it's supposed to go. The only place it will go is either in their pockets or it's going to go to funding whatever lavish life they used to. And that's the problem. It's one thing that you scheming. It's one thing that you are making mockery. It's also another thing when again you are misusing and abusing funds that are supposed to be going towards fixtures, going towards improvements, especially in your developments and apartment complexes. But you would rather try to spend your money either on a Bentley, you want to spend your money on trying to furnish your house and your living, and you're not thinking about that you're violating all of the rights of those who are living in your complexes. I think that's something that people really should think about tonight, especially those who are living. Doesn't matter if you are living in New York City housing or private housing. If there are things that are not being met, if the building code isn't the way it's supposed to be, or you feel it's deemed dangerous, again, voice your opinion and don't be silent. It's time for everybody to really start, coming back in full force. That's why I said it was always unity when it came to how things were going to be done within them complex areas, how it was going to be done within those communities. Now, essentially, again, you're saying you want to jack the rent sky high to where almost nobody can live in these places. You basically want all the quote unquote rich people to live in these areas, but you got a sad thing coming because the majority of them are not even going to blink twice at it. They would rather spend their money in a posh home or co-op or whatever in the city before they go sit in any complex or apartment complex. Another reason why I believe there are certain things that are happening the way they're happening because again, there are also some people living within these complexes that are doing the utmost. Again, there's certain things that wouldn't be too much of a problem doing if the people would stop trying to damage and vandalize things that again cost money to fix. Breaking glass windows, plexiglass windows in the lobby, corridor areas, stuff like that. That costs money. Spray painting, graffitiing, tagging up in areas, that costs money to keep doing. Think about it. You done graffiti somewhere and now I gotta sit here and do whatever. Oh, serious baby. Um, See, for this assisted living person that just came in here and got sniped out of here, this conversation don't include you. So sit back in your little free lunch area and have a nice evening. Stop being such a salamander face. Matter of fact, since you mentioned Diddy, you probably on one of them tapes. You better hope you didn't drop the soap, my guy. Stay your ass in the shadows where you been at. Now again, that right there is a problem. Because again, how do you plan on keeping your complex areas in the best conditions? It is a two-way, it is a two-way street. Yes, there are supposed to be maintenance and everything along those lines of doing things. Yes, supposed to be. But in the same token, the people that are living there are not supposed to be living like savages and animals. See, people hate to hear that, but it's true. Again, just think about it. You vandalizing the areas you live in. Now we gotta sit here, get graffiti remover, and then if depending on what they use, if it's to the point where you can't even get the stuff off. Now you gotta repaint. Again, you know, it works both ways. If you want certain things to be done, then as the tenant, you also have to make sure that everything is going according. Again, like I was saying the other day, we was having a laugh only because after the live stream, sitting back talking with the people, and then a couple things come flying out windows again. My thing is, again, you have a garbage can. Why are you throwing garbage out of your window? You not caring about what garbage comes out, who it hits. Crazy. The funny part about it was even, and this is somebody that was living here and all of that. This is a person who, again, OG on the block, and even he said the same thing. We still throwing out Pampers and bottles and all that other stuff out the window in 2024. Is that really what we're doing? It's sad when even the OGs can say that. It's sad when even some of the younger people are saying that. This is what people are doing. Some of y'all, again, are lucky to be in your positions right now because you have people, prime example, in shelters who have been trying to get in someplace. But think about it. Half of these buildings, their buildings still ain't completed, ain't done yet. And then now, look, with the migrant crisis right now, now it's even, it's getting even more turbulent right now. See, this is why I said in certain instances, there's things you have to pay attention to. That right there is a prime example of, look, we got to really start strapping up our boots now because we don't know what's going to happen in these next couple years. And prime example is certain instances where the migrants are taking over the damn apartment complexes for their own people. So that just goes to show you, you know, we have a lot to think about. We have a lot to really try to worry about. Again, it's a two-way street. The people have to be able to work together. It's almost the same instances within the community. The people and the quote unquote assemblymen and politicians have to come together, right? At some point, y'all have to come together and think about the overall thing. The overall thing is what's best, and not for right now, but for the future. And again, that's not going to be a good look when you're trying to privatize almost everything that wasn't privatized before. Again, think about those who are on fixed incomes. Think about those who, even with a great career, they might just be making the bare minimum. That's the thing. No matter where you at, no matter what the situation is, you're gonna always have to again vote and make sure that you fight for your rights. That's something that I feel again nobody should ever forget. Fighting for your damn rights. You have a right to live comfortably, not live like you in World War III. Again, making sure that things are being taken care of. Give yourself some solid footing and solid ground. You know, The only way things will change in certain instances is, again, the people come together in unity. Because again, you're gonna have to remember that and face that fact, regardless to what you are all co-exhibiting. Well, no, you're cohabiting the same place. If we all in one building together, if there's 18 floors or 20 floors, prime example, then almost everybody should be accountable for the things that are going on their floors, prime example. There are some of the complexes who are still really going hard with the tenant association, you know, and that means you got people that are in the lobbies sitting at a table to make sure whoever you're going to see is who you're going to see, especially if you are a visitor. You know, that's the best way, in my opinion, too, for some people to get back in control of their damn apartment complexes. Again, there's just some things that should never happen. Again, that proverbial "you never shit where you eat" is facts. You don't do that. But then again, I told y'all before, and I'm gonna say that shit again. There's some of y'all who are gonna mess yourselves up, and you gonna mess yourselves up thinking that you getting over. You'll find out the hard way. Because again, it's gonna be your luck. You hit an official, or God forbid, you throw something out that window or outside of that area, and that ends up hurting that person or worse. You gonna be facing God forbid worse. What you gonna do then? Now you really gonna risk you and your family's outcome just because of what you did. So again, gotta start being more reasonable and start thinking. But again, start banding up on the things you need to band up on. It's only right. You want your conditions to be a little bit more better, then act like you got a fighting spirit. Sorry, you're gonna have to. Now we know there's certain things not gonna be able to stop, like crime. Because crime is always gonna be something happening. But there are certain crimes you can limit, especially in your complexes. Gotta think about it. If you're not worried about the safety of yourself, and you're not worried about the safety of others. There's some areas right now where there's attacks happening because think about it. I'm coming into a building where there's probably basically no front door at all. So any and everybody could just walk in there. Now, in some buildings right now, and especially some of these buildings that have already been established, they did make some renovations. So in some of those buildings, you got cameras from the time you come in the building to the time you get on the elevator to the time you get to whatever floor you're going to, and then all throughout the hallway. So if something does happen, there's full 365 angle on your ass. It's sad in certain instances you're gonna have to do that in some of these areas because again, look at the way the crime is, presenting itself, especially in the areas where people rest their heads. But again, until y'all start voicing your opinions and standing on that mountaintop for real, nothing will ever be the way you think it's going to be. For those who still haven't made those votes yet, make sure you making the right type of vote and decision because again, it's not just going to affect you; it's going to affect your family as well too. So, and for those who have voted already to keep things the way it's trying to be, hey, you know that's a great look, and hopefully it'll be more of how you say it. It'll be more of an inspiration for others to really start putting in that vote as well too. Again, it's solely up to you. You know, if there's certain things that you can fix or can be fixed, then again, be a part of fixing. Like I said, you go through the everyday struggles in and out all day, every day. One thing you really shouldn't have to worry about is certain forms of crimes happening within your complex again. You know? That's why it's good to try to keep some of the things in order. You know, when you preserve the right things and you preserve the right safety tools and measurements, trust me, it'll be a lot better. In certain cases, y'all gotta stop being your own destruction. And again, that's everybody that's living in these areas. Because it's not just my people that's destroying things. Oh yeah, everybody got a hand to play in it. Because again, vandalism, destruction of property and all that other stuff, how is that gonna help you in the long run? And again, why do something when you know you live here? That would be the equivalent of me knowing I could do whatever in my apartment, but I decide to come out and sit in front of my apartment and do it. Why would I have to do that? It's pointless. Again, start being reasonable and think. Granted the opportunity to have roofing over your head. Some people ain't fortunate for that. And some of y'all will take that shit for granted, you know? Never take those things for granted. Because again, you're in a better position than some people are. And you would have some people who would probably kill to be in your position. Don't forget that part. You're one of the few lucky ones to have a roof over your head, build memories, and again, just do what's needed. Don't risk it all just because, again, you don't care or you want to act like you don't care. You should care. You should take more pride in where you live at because, again, you don't want to get looked at like second class trash. And we need to stop promoting that attitude and promoting that behavior. And again, I'm sorry. The worst thing you can do is toss garbage and um toss heavy objects out of a damn window. Don't matter what floor. Oh no, I know. Like I said, I just wanted to bring that out for the night. Again, there's some who haven't put in their vote yet. Make sure your vote is important, number one. Make sure that's something you really are going to follow through with. And again, just hope for the best. Another thing I was going to cover, and I'm going to cover a small bit of it again. Um, yeah, we're going to have that talk again. Because again, there's some of you young men and women out here who you put yourself in the lions den for real. Young men, again, you are in a relationship or married. Your main thing is to try to preserve that and preserve it organically and peacefully. If you got your main prize, you shouldn't be worried about everybody else's prize, or you shouldn't be worried about prizes that don't belong to you. I'm sorry, but there's some of y'all who are putting yourself in the trick basket because again, you can't seem to get in control of you know your all in all thought process. You can't get in control of those emotions right then and there. Jared, what's going on, my guy? You already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. And if y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. But again, this is something that I need to hear. See, everybody thinks they can have their cake and eat it too. I'm here to tell you today that you're not going to be that fortunate. You're not going to be that fortunate because, again, if you got something that everybody was trying to get, prime example, and didn't get the chance to get, why mess it up because you feel you want to still sow your wild oats? Fellas, again, you got you a good woman, got you somebody who's really gonna hold you down on all cylinders. Why mess that up? See, again, some of y'all put yourselves in these positions because you want to follow the lead and the roles of people who are single. You can't do that. Fellas, you know you with somebody, just because your peoples might not be strapped down to nobody, that doesn't mean you supposed to be trying to get into things that you know for a fact is going to cause you problems. Didi, baby. Not saying you can't hang out with friends or you can't hang out with your peoples, no. But again, there should be a respect level on everything that you're doing. And that, again, works on both ends. I ain't just talking to the fellas, I'm talking to the ladies too. It is really time to start thinking and having more interest in yourself. Having more of the right sense of pride and value is really necessary. Again, you got to start having self control. See, for some of you young men, you want to go off that notion, all right, so what? I got a girl. I will still go out and do what I want to do. If that's the case, then you don't need to be in a relationship. And I would say the same thing for some of you women because you are doing the same exact thing, leading people on instead of just saying what you really want. Again, you're not giving people the option to choose, decide, or do anything. Unfair. If you know you're not trying to be tied down with a specific person, then let that person know what it is off the rip. Don't keep misleading them, or don't keep wasting their time. And that's what I'm saying. Something y'all have to think about. You going against the grain with somebody that you claim that you are digging and that you love. How you think that's going to make them feel when you doing them wrong? If I know I got a woman, prime example, there should be no reason me trying to gain access to another woman. Some of y'all have to remember this too. Same way you can get the people is the same way you can lose them. If you got with somebody just because it was rebound or anything else along those lines, guess what? At some point, you might be on the rebound again. Or that other person have catch themselves on the rebound. Again, think, you know, precious time is being wasted when you're not with the right people and amongst the right people. And then that cylinder, again, if you know you're not trying to be tied down for any reason, then you need to let that person know well before time. It's only right. Again, it's unfair to that person who you are misleading, and it's also unfair to yourself. Some of y'all could avoid the situations that you go through if, again, you would get in control of your thoughts, get in control of your emotions at that time frame. Something that you really need to look at and take that into retrospect again. If I know I'm going to cheat, prime example, why would I waste my time bringing somebody into a relationship without no real intentions on making that person happy? That's selfish right there. The factor of all things is always going to be communication. You know, when you read well into what you need to read well into, you'll see the difference. That's why I tell people in certain instances, don't rush into anything that you feel ain't going to be good for you at that time frame. Again, in order to have the right type of peace and the right type of person to help bring that peace, just be real. You know, nah, I hear you, Jared. In that instance, you're gonna have to. You're really gonna have to. Not just even on here, in life itself. You probably gonna have to break away from some people. It's gonna be needed. Like I said, in order for you to grow better and to do better, sometimes you're gonna have to cut off things that are not bringing you any peace, joy, or it's not just bringing you any form of happiness. The one thing to remember too is sometimes you have to learn to unplug. So, prime example, if you just got out of a bad relationship, your unplug moment should be, let me take my time, let me, you know, rebuild my encouragement, let me rebuild my strength, let me rebuild everything about me I feel I lost or got weak during this time frame. So when I get into my next situation, I don't have to worry about those doubts. Some people here for a reason, some people here for a season, some people going to be here for multiple seasons for real. The ones that are going to be here for multiple seasons, those are going to be Those are going to be your support system, your rock, your everything. Those are going to be how you say, yo, those are going to be your humble spaces. Those are going to be the people who, again, see the best in you and only want to see the best in you. But again, in that aspect, again, some of you young fellas think before you do things. There's some of you who don't realize you playing around with some of these young women's hearts, it's not going to end well. Again, you got to make sure that somebody's mental state is up to par. I've always said the minute you feel red flags on something, you follow your notion and follow your gut. And that's the thing. Follow your gut instincts more than anything. Now, again, for some of you young women, if you know you're not looking for no friends with benefits or anything along those lines, you need to let that be known off the rip. It doesn't matter who your interest is. Same thing with you fellas. Not willing to do certain things, you need to let it be known right then and there. And that's the thing. Don't be scared to say what you need or what you require. You're absolutely right on that part, serious again. Communication is going to be that stronghold. Like fellas, again, let it be known what it is that you seeking and what you need. Not so much as what you want, what you need. Ladies, same thing. In this era right now, some women don't care because they don't mind being a side chick. But then again, shouldn't be no side chick. Shouldn't be no side niggas, none of that. If you are planning on dealing with somebody, then you need to give that person your full undivided attention. And if you can't do so, then you need to let it be known and let that person decide if they still want to deal with you or if they're going to find somebody that could fit the mold. It's just that simple. But see, in certain instances, it's not going to be simple because, again, some of y'all are listening to all the wrong forms of ideas, all the wrong forms of advice. Instead of taking your own advice and taking your own initiative, you're listening to what other people are saying. Again, single people will leave people single. Prime example, ladies, you know you got a good, decent man, and he's allowing you, or not even so much as allowing you. If he's comfortable with certain aspects of you, don't change that up. Same way y'all women study certain things, men focus and study on certain things too. The minute we sense a problem, we usually try to figure out what that problem is. But again, you both have to be on a strong, positive level when communicating. There's some of you who are breaking people's views and values. Why? Because again, that person valued you and viewed you as somebody that was worthy, and you proved to be unworthy. You proved to be unworthy because instead of you saying what you really needed and giving that person the opportunity to choose, you just decided to be selfish because you wanted things for yourself. Now, again, young fellas out there, you got your prize winning, don't mess it up. Prime example, you got your woman, got you a child on the way or got you a child. Don't mess that up. Just because again, You want to worry about other pleasures that don't need to be worried about. And if some of your pleasures and your desires are not being fulfilled, then again, the same way women could open their mouth and be boisterous about things, you fellas need to let that be known too. Some of y'all women are going to mess yourselves up because some of y'all are listening to a lot of these feminist groups, or not even just feminist groups. You listen to anybody that's giving the wrong form of advice to where they're saying you don't need a man. They are telling you nothing but seething lies. Because some of these quote unquote feminist women are going right home to their husbands. It's the same way with some of the music you're listening to. Some of these people are trying to promote single life and everything else. But guess what? Some of these people are going right home to their fucking married couple and families. When are you going to start listening to your own reasoning? When are you going to start making your own decisions? You know, again, finding somebody that best compliments you, finding somebody that brings you solace and peace, but also finding somebody that's not going to risk it all just for that moment. That's a strong outlook. In this dating world right now, things are going to be fickle because, again, the way things are being done. And some of it is, yes, due to social media. And I don't care if it sounds like I'm repeating it. I am repeating it for a good reason. Because I believe, in my opinion, that is the truth. Y'all want to listen to all these gurus and listen to all these unofficial whoever's, but in the same token, you're not listening to yourself. These people can't tell you what you need and what you desire. You have to already know what you want, what you need, and what you desire. Some of you ladies, you want that man that's going to be this and going to be that and going to be your knight in shining armor, and go find them. Or let them find you. Continue to live your life. Continue to keep doing what's necessary for the forefronts, and things will fall into place. Fellas, get in control again. Give yourself self-awareness and self-control. Are you really going to risk something great and grand you got just for something that's really not worth it? Ladies, same thing. And some of y'all who have yourselves in great positions and messed yourselves up because, again, listening to your single friends or just going off impulse and not thinking, maybe I shouldn't do this because I don't want to hurt myself in the long run. I don't want to hurt that person. And I definitely don't want to be looked at any old different than what I'm already. No, don't put yourself in that position. Again, there should always be boundaries to things, especially when it does come to relationship. There should be some boundaries. Not a lot, but some. You got too many boundaries in a relationship, it's almost like you're going to be walking on eggshells. Nobody wants to do that. You got to know what's right for you and what's not right for you. You know, and again, you should be the one making that decision. Nobody else is going to make your life decisions but you. But in an imperfect world, I know we asking for a little too much. But to be honest, you're really not. Your peace, your pleasure, and everything else, again, it relies on you. So again, you young ladies and you young fellas out there, before you go doing anything out of the ordinary or doing anything that's not needed, think about what you really need and what you solely are asking for. The things you are asking for, when you do get it or you're blessed to have it, don't mess it up. And that's a whole fact serious, but see, even in certain instances like that, there's some people who are with the situationships. But at some point, it does end up becoming a relationship or a marriage, especially when they both know, despite the stubbornness, they have almost everything in common. Like if you know you have soul chemistry with somebody, and your chemistry is stronger with that person than anybody else you've been around or been in contact with, then you already should have a solid decision on where you go. Why would I be with somebody I have the least attraction to? Make it make sense. Why would I risk my happiness just for something that I know for a fact ain't gonna make me happy? Some of y'all put yourselves in crazy positions because you want to go against the grain and still do the unthinkable to people that you're in relationships with or in marriages with. But in the long run, you end up biting yourself in the ass. Again, why mess up everything just for that moment of time? That moment of time probably will just be that. Some of y'all get used and tossed to the curb after you done went off the deep end to go do something that you know was wrong. And then you feel a type of way about it, but you can't. You can't feel a type of way when you put yourself in that predicament again. You didn't have to do it. All you had to do was come clean to your partner and let them know what is going on, why you're feeling the way you're feeling, or what can we do to change this situation so I don't feel this way no more, you don't feel this way no more. Have open dialect and conversation. It's just something to think about. You know, again, some of you men and women out there, before you start making the wrong, irrash decisions, better just do the necessary thing and again, conversate with that person. Because to be honest with you, there's no real solid men or women who are going to be comfortable with their quote unquote significant other cheating. They definitely are not going to be happy if a person is unsure if they really want to be stuck with them or not, basically. They shouldn't feel that way because in the long run, again, it is solely up to you. You know, we have to bring back strong positive reinforcements and communication. Ladies will always be vocal about things that they need, things that they require. Fellas need to start getting in that same range again. Again, if you love yourself, you will love the fact that you have a blessed situation. And there are some people who did just that. They didn't want to risk messing up their families, messing up their living situations, none of that. Why? Because they're happy. They are comfortable and solid in the decision that they made. I chose you out of everybody because you are the right one for me. And when that person has done that, it's only right you give them your all back. I can't give you a half of me. I can give you all of me. No. Again, start having these conversations when needed. Fellas, you want to be young, wild, and free, then don't be attached to anything. Ladies, same thing. You don't want to be held down and tied down, then don't waste your time giving anybody any old type of energy. Again, it's time to start loving yourselves. Start trusting your better judgment. And then, to be honest, some of y'all will mess up your situations and you downgrade it on your situation, basically. Prime example. There's some of y'all who think just because you got somebody, I'm going to go cheat. But then when you go cheat, you cheating with something that's bottom of the barrel, basically. I'm not condoning no form of cheating. I can't tell anybody I can't tell anybody how to really live. But if you feel that's something you're gonna do, guess what? There will be a consequence to that. And you're gonna have to live with that consequence every day. There's some of y'all who are putting yourselves out there just because, again, you don't want to be lonely. You don't want to be sad. You don't want to be miserable. You don't want to be all of those things, and I grant that. But again, you better have a clear understanding and a clear mindset on what you really need. Focus on that before anything else. When you love yourself, then you'll be able again to love the people that you need to love. And again, for those who might have just been tuning in, you know, I'm gonna have another conversation tomorrow. And don't worry, it'll be in the morning time this time. Again, for those who might have just been tuning in, definitely share it out. Cover two different aspects of things I felt I needed to cover. For the first half of it, again, for those who haven't made those votes yet, make sure you making the right vote when it comes down to how things are going to be perceived and how things are going to be done within your complex area. And for the second part, again, some of you young men and women better take heed to what I said tonight. Everything is all fun and games until somebody get hurt. You don't want to be on either end of that. Because again, when you play with somebody's heart, you're also playing with your safety. Don't forget about that part. No doubt, Jared. You already know, man. We'll definitely figure that out. Definitely. Nah, it's a whole fact series. They need to just stop that. Like I said, some of y'all don't give yourselves proper time or proper anything to try to heal and grow from something that you just previously got out of. You're only hurting yourself worse. You set yourself up for future scars and even more deeper wounds. And at some point, you want to feel like you're not going to be able to trust nobody. But in that token right there, you won't have nobody to blame but yourself. Again, love yourself, have awareness about yourself, take pride in yourself. Everything else will fall in line after that. And before I do get up out of here, I do want to take the time to wish again everybody happy birthday who's celebrating this week. We did not forget about you. Again, hopefully y'all enjoy your weeks, your weekends, whatever plans you might have. Hopefully y'all keep yourselves safe, keep building great memories, and just enjoy that day. And my man, this is about to start right now. For the alligator face, rabbit food eating ass nigga that came in here
Porn
earlier.
causes brain damage.
For those following me on Clapper, yes, tomorrow I will be in the building at 5 o'clock. Apologies for today. Today, your boy was actually out of steam. Did a whole bunch of running around for the good and for whatever. But for those who want to catch me up in the spot,
I normally don't ask girls stuff like this until they tell me they're pregnant. What's your name?
Clapper.
but I appreciate y'all though. If you ain't been catching them shorts, definitely catch them suckers. Trust me, we making the world laugh one short video at a time. Oh, there's more coming, and there's more coming, and there's more coming. But yeah. I gotta give y'all the double whammy birthday, people.
Dear friend, I know it's your birthday today, but keep yourself under control. Don't drink all the alcohol in town or the news will be like this tomorrow.
And before we really do get up out of here, to feel good. Don't worry, James. We bringing all the iced coffee, the espresso, all of that, man. We up in that bitch tomorrow. Yeah, but again, appreciate everybody that tuned in. And again, I appreciate everybody that's been part of the build, still becoming a part of the build. Those who have been solid in everything they've been doing. It's a great accomplishment, again, to just know that you're bringing something and it's not falling on deaf ears. And that's something that we're going to keep doing. For those in the shadows watching, I ain't forget about y'all. And I know there's a couple of y'all under the weather. I ain't forget about y'all. Don't worry, we got karaoke.
You a baddie, the type I appreciate. With no makeup, you looking good in the face. Natural body, I'm loving how it's shaped. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hoes coming in, so I gotta bring the guys with me. Said he get the dirty outside. Heard there was some free, so I had to bring the down with me. Oh, you with it? I'm gone. Come to the bathroom, give me that dome. Yo, man's get the tripping, Brody.
Serious, I ain't worried about your little boxing glove. There go Marlene, baby. Come over here with that little boxing glove. Oh, you thought you was tough. You thought you was tough. Let me show you you ain't tough. Watch this. Oh, and I forgot it is Friday Eve. It is Friday Eve, so I ain't forget about I ain't co-signing nothing. I'm co-signing myself. I'm Nate the motherfucking Great. But again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hopefully y'all enjoy the rest of your evenings. And for you future babies, I still need the lottery numbers, damn it. I know it's already halfway in. I need them lottery numbers, damn it. But yeah, we're gonna definitely be back in the building. We'll be back in the building tomorrow morning. And again, for those following me on Clap, I'll definitely see y'all early afternoons. Let me get up out of here. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. For everybody that was in attendance today, y'all already know that love is love and it'll be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I can do is give you real. That's all I'm going to do is give you real topics and real bills. Jared, I'll be back in the building tomorrow morning at 11:30. And if you ain't following me on Clapper, please make sure you doing so. I ain't forget about y'all though. I forgot. I can't go out like that. I'd go out like a sucker if I didn't. Wait a minute. For the email that's coming again. No doubt, Jerry. I got you, bro. But yeah, y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. And until the next live, we out of here. Oh, wait a minute. I can't do that. Wait. My bad. I did owe a couple more. I did owe this one to somebody. And I owed Siri.
Motherfucker.
Friday evening vibes. Here you go.
Take a loss, get her right back. She get tossed around, moving like that. Outside with the demons. Beyonce almost made me drown, but I'm breathing. I had to lose to win. Then I told myself I never lose.
And healing prayers to those who haven't been in here recently. You know, again, hopefully you feel better. Again, your health over everything. And you know you still here with the fam. So y'all stay safe. Keep that third. Oh, dang it. Fine, Marlene. Fine. I'm only going to play it because I was saying that same thing today. Wait a minute, I'm gonna give you 2 for 2.
Turn myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! Big reveal, I'm a pickle. What do you think about that? I turned myself into a pickle!
And one more game for good measurement. The first ever AI Natures Awards might be coming in before the year's out, so you know. Yeah, there's more I'm gonna put up on here at some point. Don't worry. But I ain't forget about that other person.
Shit.
Get your Friday vibes on, don't worry. But y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. Until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.